You know it, you hate it, welcome to YBA. A land where skins reign supreme, and the only major content addition this year was turning the game into Team Fortress 2. It has a plethora of stands, some weak, some strong, but most of them usable. Many wish for new stands to be added to the game, and while I entirely understand them, I do feel that before any new 18-move stands are added, they should probably address the blatant problem with the game's balance. Unfortunately, while some abilities have obvious changes that could be made to fix them, some stands are so far out in concept that their mere presence in YBA is a detriment to the game's balance, unless they receive drastic changes. These stands are Beach Boy, Hermit Purple, and Sex Pistols. Now I should probably clarify to the keyboard warriors of YBA that I'm not saying these abilities are overpowered, or even good. I'm saying that their concepts just don't work in a balanced game. Either they'll be the backbone of cheesy strategies, the central hub of absolute bullshit, or meta-defining like Sex Pistols was in its prime. Either way, they do not have a place in a balanced meta. First on the chopping block is Beach Boy. A non-humanoid stand, much like the other two, lacks a barrage and has a bunch of knockdowns. The problem here comes from the fact that all of its moves are large, uncancelable, and usually hard to read projectiles. In the days of old, everyone considered Beach Boy to be a joke ability, something only people clearly throwing would even bother to equip. But now, with the addition of the reworked specs, that's starting to change. Due to boxing and Hamon having such potent get-off-me tools in the form of Haymaker and Luck and Pluck, there's a lot less fear about getting barraged, even more so when you consider the spec barrages that are basically just kick barrages. Beach Boy's massive attacks are laggy, hard to see, and while they can be punished, likely won't due to the incoming follow-up. On top of that, all of them block break rather than piercing like Killer Queen does. The real problem is that there isn't really much that can be done with Beach Boy in a game like YBA. In All-Star Battle R, one of the most recent JoJo fighting games, Pesci is one of two movesets you have access to as Prosciutto, and most of the moves you gain access to with Pesci are mid-air catches, traps, and counters. I'm sure you can imagine that giving a non-humanoid stand in YBA any of these abilities, it would be hell. It just doesn't work. This is where I would suggest a new moveset with new abilities to make Beach Boy able to hold its own without being a huge pain in the ass, but like, you can't do that. Beach Boy, by design, is not meant to fight alone. He's similar to Jay Giles' Hanged Man, he's just a partner. So I propose Grateful Dead plus Beach Boy. Listen, if other stands like Scary Monsters are going to have moveset toggles, I don't see why this isn't fair. Have it summon Pesci when you use Beach Boy moves, like Bruford in the Vampire spec. This is genuinely the only way I can see Beach Boy continuing to exist in YBA without being a bit of a problem. Hermit Purple's up next, and this stand has been through it all. What is currently a fairly strong stand in Steel Ball Run, a terrible 1v1 stand, and likely the best item grinding stand in the game right now barring Maiden Heaven, Hermit Purple is a fairly common sight in main game and SBR. Unfortunately for Hermit Purple, the only people that tend to use it are trolling or abusing the horse mechanics in Steel Ball Run. It's absolutely terrible in a 1v1 due to having no way of dealing with the enemy just holding block other than an extremely choreographed 2-hit cancelable attack. Hermit Purple does exactly what you would think to do with Hermit Purple, but looking at Joseph in All-Star Battle gives a different story. He's the grappler in that game, meaning his moveset primarily focuses on grabs, snatching the opponent from the safety of their block as well as dishing out some damage while you do it. He also has a move pretty similar to Soft and Wet's Friction Plunder, where he pulls a barrel of tar on screen and hits the enemy with it, causing them to trip. The difference between these games is that barrages do not work out of stun. It's an actual fighting game. You only get a few combo breakers per round. As sad as it is, an accurate and fun Hermit Purple moveset is probably never coming to YBA. You see, most of the problems with the non-humanoid stands are overtuned mechanics to compensate for the lack of barrage. We see this later with Sex Pistols in the form of improved dash, but it's not Mista's turn yet. Now, the problem with Hermit Purple is that it relies too heavily on moves that only really work against bad players, but when they work well. Those stuns last a lifetime, and if you fail to block even one, you're gonna lose a huge chunk of health. My suggestion? Rework it a little. Replace Vine Slap with a ranged grab in which you send out a wide area of vines before pulling them in. You might as well give him the tar barrel, maybe replace Vine Trap with it, then change Grapple to be mobility only, actually make it work, and give him a little floor sweep move that pulls people in, like a single target Cyclone Slash. Oh, and rework the Hamon infuse to only work with Joseph Hamon. That's right. Part of my solution to Hermit Purple is to give it something that actually helps it. In this moveset, you charge your Hamon meter by spinning clackers, which you can hold a button to barrage with them at the cost of rapidly depleting the meter. What makes this useful for Hermit Purple is replacing Infusion's Ignite on hit with the ability to use the clacker barrage and stun. It wouldn't end with a knockdown, it wouldn't have more stun, it would just give Hermit Purple a way to keep those pesky humanoids off its back and give it some leeway in the current combo-based meta. With those two out of the way, that only leaves one. The Crowned Prince of Absolute Misery. A stand that has never been and will never never be balanced. It's not strong offensively, but what it is defensively, compounded with the new specs, is absolutely insane. Improved dash is the worst way I've ever seen a moveset compensate for a lack of barrage. What's that? You landed a combo starter? Dash. You parried one of their spec moves? Dash. You broke their block? Dash! You are never going to pin down a Sex Pistols, not unless you manage to hit them with a combo starter right after they use their improved dash. Bad Sex Pistols players will use it unnecessarily, so it's fairly easy to catch them, but good players? There's not much you can do. The solution? Get rid of improved dash all the way, get it out of the game now. If you want mobility, then give it a new mobility passive. Maybe increase speed or a buff to regular dashes. But no free combo escapes, it's just stupid. What I propose instead is a new move to replace Sex Pistols' barrage finisher. Yes, it has one. Turn that move into a mobile kick, a blockable move that can be used in stun that deals like 8 or so damage and ragdolls on hit. Boom! Now Sex Pistols has a way to deal with barrages that isn't complete bullshit. Alright, it's the big three. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I'm looking at it here and it seems like it covered all the problematic non-humanoids. There's not a single thing I'm missing here. Alright, fine, jeez. Yep, this is the worst offender. There is zero reason for this stand to be in the game. I might as well give it the courtesy I gave the others and explain why. Mr. President has a single offensive move, not counting Shake Key, because it's basically just Kidnap Part 2. The move is parryable, cancelable, and forces you to enter the effective range of every barrage in the game. The main thing wrong with Mr. President is that it's just not a combat stand. It isn't supposed to fight, and never does at any point in or out of series canon. Coco Jumbo was never intended to throw hands with Star Platinum of the world, but Uzu demanded to see the turtle tortured. I would suggest ways to fix it, but like, what could you even do? This isn't like the others where it's been in combat before. There's zero material to draw on. Everything I could come up with would be purely hypothetical, and that's not a great way to make movesets. That is, unless you're on the YBA creative direction team, I guess. These are the people that made Tusk, Spin, and Poochie stands without reading the manga first. Well, I've certainly got my work cut out for me, so, how do I make the turtle fun? Oh, I got it! So, the key can store things, right? What if you dumped a bunch of stuff into the key as a charge, and then flung it out of the key as moves? Like Red Hot Chili Pepper, but instead of electricity, it's just garbage and furniture. And then maybe give it some mobility, like throwing the key and then hiding inside. I think there's actually some potential here. This is basically just a bag of holding. There's no way kidnapping is the best they could come up with. What if you could leverage your strength to rip off your enemy's limbs with the key pull? What if you could slide the key under someone and then have something pop out of it, like how Killer Queen's coin bomb works? Ooh, now we're thinking of the portals, y'all. All you'd really need to do to make all this stuff work is allow for the key to be its own object in 3D space, not bound to the player. Being able to throw the key and then follow that up with various things would actually make Mr. President very versatile and fun stand to experiment with. How has no one brought up this idea before? Man, I should write random scripts at 1 in the morning more often. Well, that's most of the major issues regarding the problematic non-humanoids. I didn't talk about Aerosmith here because I genuinely think it's in a pretty good spot. Its extended but not combo-breaking barrage allows you to do some seriously wacky stuff, but it also works great in cooperative team comps. Little Boy also works as a pretty good get-off-me tool if a humanoid gets a little too close for comfort. All in all, Aerosmith's fine. In terms of future YBA content, please dislike this video. I don't want this to be what I'm known for. What you can expect is an edited compilation of me and Scott using the hand and cream to delete unfortunate souls in the new SBR map, coming sometime. Y'all are YBA fans, you can deal with ambiguous release dates, it's what you do, but no, really. I'll probably be recording part 2 of Terraria with Scott sometime in the near future whenever he says he wants to. I'm also considering starting a more machinima-like story-based Minecraft modded playthrough, likely centering on the Create mod. Love that mod to death, but I cannot use it to save my life, so the playthrough will probably just be me learning how to progress through the mod, develop some train stations, and just make a cool factory. If there's something you're interested in, or something you never want to see, hit me up on Discord. Well, you can do that for any reason, but I'm expecting it to be related to my videos. Well, it's been fun talking at my monitor, but script writing Alex is starting to realize that the ending section is taking up a lot more of the word count than he'd like, so I guess I'm supposed to stop talking now. See you later!